Now, the former Member of Parliament for Nkranza North in the Bunohafu region who served jail term in USC for drug trafficking is in the grip of the Ghana police for allegedly possessing a lady's passports, which the police claimed was fraudulently acquired. Early on, the former lawmaker was at the Nima police station where Joy News' Kwache Afre Nuyama says he was in cells. Erica Martin has been speaking to Kwache Afre and he told him he does not have a lawyer. Well, Kwache has joined me over the telephone. Let's get some more from him. Hello, Kwache.
Yeah.
What more can you tell us?
Well, Mr. Just the update first before my interaction with him. Mr. Martin was whisked away about 6 minutes ago, barely 6 minutes ago, in a police CID. Understand straight to the CID headquarters. But before that, about an hour and a half ago, I had an interaction with him where he was in a cell at the Nima police headquarters. He was in a white stained T-shirt with a loose collar. He was in a brown khaki, and he obviously looked very stressed and distraught. At least he, in his own description of how his debriefing session with officials of the Narcotics Control Board yesterday, when he described this as stressful. Mr. Martin tells me that since he was whisked away upon his arrival at the Kotoka International Airport yesterday, he has not had access to a lawyer. He virtually pleaded with me to help him get legal counsel, get access to a legal counsel. And he said in key, I quote that, clearly, indicating that his anxiety, his quest to get access to legal counsel. He's also very wary about the possibility of this entire matter taking a political twist. And on that, he says that he's not so enthused about the MPP wading into this entire matter. He tells me, however, that no official of the MPP has been in touch with him as of now. One of his sons was here, and he is following him to understand after they leave the CID headquarters here in Accra, they will head straight to court where the matter will be heard. But additional information I've picked up from sources within the top hierarchy of the Criminal Investigations Department points to the fact that officials of this CID again and some other officials of the Attorney General's Department have been engaged in a crunch meeting on how to move this matter forward in terms of the prosecution. I
see. It means that he's been officially charged, but with what?
Yes, that clear indication is there, but officials, at least for now, of the CID, other police officials remain tight-lipped over what the specific charges are. But certainly, when he appears in court later this afternoon, that will be clear, and that's one issue, one angle we'll be following up on when he appears in court.
I see. So as it stands now, he's still at the Nima police station?
Not at all. As I indicated earlier on, he was whisked from his cell here at the Nima police station, where he spent the night. He did arrive here around 10:30 p.m. yesterday from the NACOP debriefing session. He's been whisked to the CID headquarters. From there, they'll head straight, as per the information I'm receiving from my sources at the CID headquarters.
To the court?
To the court, yeah.
Why doesn't he have counsel?
Come again with that.
I'm asking why he doesn't have counsel.
Well, that is not so clear yet, but at least from my interaction with him, it was clear that he wants one, he needs one, and he would be grateful if he has access to legal counsel yet at any point, any time soon. But as to why he doesn't, he didn't make that so clear to me.
I see. We realized that you sent through some photos, except these photos were not too clear. What exactly happened? Hello, Afre?
Yeah, the question was not so clear.
I was asking about the photos you sent in for TV, and the fact that the photos were not clear. Exactly what happened while you tried to take those photos?
Yes, in fact, when I arrived, the police officer had to do a bit of undercover, not necessarily reveal myself as a journalist. What happened was that I had to come in as someone from his constituency, but even after I was allowed to see him, there was a gap. I was not allowed to go too close to the cell where I mean this crowded cell with about 50 people. I was not allowed to go too. So you know it was a bit difficult with all these police officers around the counter. I mean monitoring my movement and all that to take a very clear shot. And they gave me a very limited time to interact with him, and he was a bit cautious because he doesn't know me. I just had to introduce myself as someone he hadn't seen in a while. I mean, he's been out of the country for a while. There are a number of people in his constituency, so just appeared to I just tested him as someone from his constituency that perhaps
you'd say
not remember how.
You'd say that he's under tight security.
Yes, certainly. He's under very tight security here. Even as of the time he was whisked away, the security presence at the time, about 2 police vehicles from the CID headquarters. And looking at how events unfolded from yesterday, the number of police officials all wielding guns at the NACOP headquarters, just because Mr. Martin had arrived, was undergoing this debriefing session. Clearly points to the fact that the police are very conscious of the fact that, or the need to put in place the necessary security measures, at least wherever he is.
Fred, thank you very much for that update. We'll get back to you as and how the story unfolds. Now let's talk about education. The strike by the University Teachers Association of Ghana has compelled some universities in the country to postpone their reopening. For instance, the University of Cape Coast has postponed indefinitely its reopening date for the 2014-2015 academic year. Management of the university, after a crunch meeting, issued a statement on Thursday to announce the school's inability to reopen for the new academic year due to circumstances beyond their control. UCC was to reopen for the start of the academic year on 2nd and 9th August 2014 for fresh and continuing students, respectively. In the studio with me are 2 students from the University of Cape Coast. To my far left, there's Jacob Paul Awuholanyo Aheto, and to my immediate left, there is Ata Sapon Mpesu. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Your school just came out with information that it couldn't reopen as scheduled. How do you feel about that? I'll start with you, Jacob.
Very bad. I said earlier that it's a lot of stress on us as students, and especially for persons like me who will be in our final year this year. It's devastating. It was not a pleasant news at all.
What are you studying, by the way?
Psychology, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
I see. And you?
Communication studies.
How would that affect you?
Well, that's going to affect me greatly. You know, UCC, people say, is the University of Constant Confusion. Then this time around,
is the University of
Constant Confusion.
Right.
Then we are having strike. We are paying school fees. It's not free. School is supposed to reopen on the 16th. Last day for payment of fees is 15th. A week from.
As in 15th of
deadline,
July.
August.
15th of August.
Yeah.
So I want to believe both of you have paid your fees.
Yeah.
I see. Do you get that money back usually when the academic year is called off?
Oh no.
What is it that management has been explaining to you as students?
all the messages we've been having through WhatsApp and then on the web. The SRC president sent WhatsApp messages around, and I received mine about 3 days ago, telling us of the students not coming to school because it will be a waste of time and money, and that school had closed indefinitely. So we were more like, what's happening? And just like yesterday, I went to the university's website, and it was boldly pasted there that school had
being postponed indefinitely. And it must give you a lot more confusion to know that you don't even know when you're going back.
Definitely. So that is where the confusion really is. And as a psychology student, I come to understand that this is going to be a lot of, it's a psychological stress on the students, because for you to know that, I mean, when I'm going back to school, it's indefinite. It makes it more problematic, more confusing and all of that. And already UCC is among other universities in Ghana, we know it's the most hectic. It's already stressed out. So for you to getting ready to go and face all this stress, I mean, for persons like me, as I said, in my final year, and then you get to know that, I mean, it's been postponed indefinitely. It's just not a good news. Just not good news.
Is there anything you could do about it?
Well, I communicated with one of my friends, and he's an SRC executive, and then we'll see. Initially, there was a plan for demonstration, but it was cancelled. So we don't know if they will go through that with that.
Final year student, you're expecting to go to school, write your thesis if you are going to do that, and then graduate.
Right.
But here you are, you're not sure if you're graduating or not. What are you going to be doing with your time, by the way?
Anyway, we'll continue with our various attachments wherever we are, and then I mean I mostly go to Dominion University Library to read on other stuff when my lecture time. So maybe you continue that and then see. We're hoping to hear good news soon, and we're praying for that.
And you?
Well, I'm also doing my attachment at Adom FM.
Oh,
so I'll have to continue with that.
I see. So you're with the business here.
Yes.
But to have this happen, what do you think the future looks like?
It's scary. It's really scary. I mean, we keep saying that if our leaders who are supposed to protect us or who are supposed to show us the way are always doing that, I mean, what are they teaching us? What are they telling us? That one day we should all grow up and pick up political and personal interest at the expense of students or at the expense of us, our colleagues and siblings and children. You know, it's very scary, and I think it's hard time that it's stopped. I mean, it's between the government and UTAG. We understand, and we don't want to go into that because both have their stance. But all we are saying is that we as a student, we need to study. We need to graduate. Our future is at stake. So they should just put away all their personal and political interest and then come down, especially UTAG. They should look at us, and then as we're speaking now, they should just look at us and then come back to school and come and teach us.
What would be the one thing you'd want to say to your lecturers, to government?
We just have to plead with them. Our lives are at stake. Okay, we are the future of the nation. And if this is happening, well, it's our future. And so we are pleading with them to do something about it.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. I've been speaking with Jacob Paul Ahetu and Ata Sapon Impesum. Both are students of the University of Cape Coast. When I come back, I'll tell you whether or not it's such a good thing for our interest rates for our Eurobond on the economy. Now, government says a formal request for financial and technical assistance from the International Monetary Fund will be made soon. Meanwhile, Ghana has already started reaping the benefits that might come along with a possible IMF program. Interest which Ghana is paying on its second Eurobond has dropped substantially from 8.14% to 5.2% after government announced plans to go for the IMF bailout. I spoke earlier on News Desk with Gilbert Ibrahim, an economist, on prospects for the economy.
Of information is core, even in our foreign currency market today. One of the things that produces the currency panic, you know, we always have a crisis and we have a panic. The currency panic is coming from information. It just turns out there and there's a panic situation which ultimately in Ghana's case results into currency crisis.
Wondering how the ordinary Ghanaian can benefit from this. Me, as an ordinary Ghanaian, what benefits do I get from that? Is there any direct benefit for the ordinary Ghanaian? Do we see real changes by that?
Yeah, the changes will come, but if this is taking, I want to talk as the principal concept as it stands now. If this IMF package will come in, and we all know that IMF resources and their advice comes to governments to give you a time frame so that you can adjust your policies to match your domestic expenditure with income. That is the purpose of IMF bailouts and issues. They give you some time, you adjust your policy so that you can match expenditure with income. And that in itself is a whole dynamic, because you have to deal with the expenditure and raise up income to match. Then the cocoa community is coming in 1 point something syndicated loan into the system. Foreign currency will increase. Then the euro bond also brings in more foreign currency. You see, now government can stabilize the economy, the cedi volatility will slow down and stabilize. Then if other indigenous policy comes on board, then productivity picks up, then the growth comes, then the average Ghanaian will benefit.
Well, the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, has asked the Ministry of Finance to return more than 200 cedis, more than 200 million cedis they withdrew illegitimately from the Ghana Stabilization Fund. PIAC, which was established by an act of parliament to monitor compliance of the Petroleum Revenue Management Act by both state and non-state institutions, said the Finance Ministry creamed off millions of cedis from the Stabilization Fund without parliamentary approval. The act provides a framework for how monies accrued from oil exploration activities in the country be managed. During the presentation of the supplementary budget statement to Parliament last month, Finance Minister Setekwe reviewed the cap on the Stabilization Fund to 900 million Ghana cedis from over 1 million Ghana cedis. In accordance with Section 23, Act 3 of the Petroleum Revenue Management Act, the chairman of the Communications Subcommittee of PIAC, Yawusu, has said, although the law mandates the minister to recommend approval to Parliament, the wording of the relevant section of the Act suggests that the capping must be done prospectively and not retrospectively, as the minister did in July. Mining royalties and corporate taxes to governments could see a significant dip this year. The Chamber of Mines at a forum in Accra said the revenue stream may be reduced by as much as 14% due to the continuous slump in gold prices. The Chamber has, however, endorsed government's decision to turn to the IMF for assistance, saying it will bring some stability to the market.
The fall in the prices of gold in recent times has not only compelled mass layoffs across the industry, but has also affected revenue accruing to the state from the sector. Acting Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Mines, Suleiman Ukoni, after a workshop to enlighten media practitioners on the sector, told Joy News mining revenues have suffered.
There's been downturns in some mines, okay? But if you look at it on an aggregate, on a whole, we are not doing too badly, because if you compare this year's half-year production to that of last year, production is about 1% up, which is about flat. But the downside is that because of the price of gold, the revenue impact has been adverse. So you have a decline in revenue of about 14%, although the production has actually gone up by about 1%. As you well know, the royalty is based upon gross revenue. So if gross revenue is actually hit, so to speak, then naturally it would affect, the amount of royalty that government gets. But again, the highest, benefits, that fiscal benefit that government gets from the mining industry is not royalty. It is more corporate tax. It's more corporate tax, and therefore, although royalty will be impacted, again, corporate tax in all likelihood would also be impacted, because that is also dependent upon the revenue that mining companies make.
He was hopeful the IMF bailout will bring the economy some respite.
Yes, we are concerned, and that is why I explained the fact that anything that government would do to bring calmness in the financial market, to give assurances and confidence to inure to the strength of the city, why not? We are quite happy about it, because we also operate within the economy. So I believe that whatever conditionalities there are should be more to do with our fiscal discipline, what we need to do as a country to ensure that we stay within our means, not overspend, and make sure that we price, for example, our utilities properly. And that also will require some responsibility on the part of users and consumers of these utilities, for example, because utilities are expensive, power is expensive, diesel or petroleum products are expensive, and therefore we should be quite responsible in the way we use them.
Solicitor for the Chamber of Mines, Sheila Minka, was also worried about the use of mineral royalties, particularly for mining communities, and called for a review of the Minerals Development Fund bill.
There's a part of the Constitution which talks about how royalties, a certain percentage, about 10% of royalties from natural resources, are supposed to be taken by the Office of Administrator of Stool Lands and then distributed by a certain formula. The first part indicates for a chief as befitting his status, and it's been interpreted as it's for the chief, so he can get his palanquin, etc., and additional things. Then there's another one, that's part of it supposed to be for the traditional council. It's not really clear. And then the district assembly. When it gets to the district assembly, as to how it is utilized, it's supposed to be utilized for the districts. But sometimes it's not clear. There are reports that they use it for certain allowances, to buy vehicles. But the idea was that it's supposed to be used for something for the community.
Abigail Adomakunchi for Joy News.